Well, good morning, cupcakes and sunshines, and what other adjectives can I use for these people? Wow, everybody's all worked up this morning. Well, I tell you what, there's a lot to get worked up about. Welcome to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Supposedly, I am. It's some sort of liberal-driven podcast now. I don't know what. Am I a libtard?
I'm not a liberal or a libtard. I don't even know what I am. I just want to talk about sports. I'm a boy.
You're a boy.
I think.
The LGBTQ thing, you're just a B outside of that.
I'm going into the bathroom that has the person that doesn't flare out at the bottom. That's my bathroom choice. I'm a non-flaring bathroom goer. I need this guy here on the door.
Yeah, so. Maybe it's the old man get off my lawn part, but it's like my bathrooms are transgender. They're.
I was going to ask you about your bathroom. Why are those handicapped rails in there for? What are those used for?
The guy that owns this apartment, he's actually in a wheelchair. He's handicapped.
Oh, okay.
So there.
Makes sense. I thought there was some weird stuff going on.
Don't make me have to call you a racist this early. We're talking about sports, not social issues.
Let's go.
Okay. Well, we got a lot to get to. Well, first of all, you're leaning into the camera. Put your chair down a little bit.
I'm so uncomfortable. I just want to throw a disclaimer out there for the people that are viewing. I'm uncomfortable. I hurt my back. That's why we missed last week's show, because I was laid out flat.
Playing hurt.
My back was so bad hurt. It's still bad hurt, and I'm just struggling. So if I'm jittery and moving around, and it's not because I've got gas, it's just because my back is just really hurting.
Fidgety.
So, yes. Anyway, so.
You and your gigantic head.
This beard, how's the beard looking? It's looking pretty big now, isn't it?
Yeah, you're getting real beardy. I got to shave mine, but people are starting to hand me small change on the street if I stayed still for too long.
Listen, let's keep that change. That'll add up.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Buy something real nice.
That's all I need. That's all we need is more handouts. So the sports world is now mourning the passing of a legend, an icon. Coach Bobby Bowden from Florida State University has passed away at the age of 91. Rest in peace, sir. An honorable adversary, a formidable adversary, being a Hurricanes fan, with wide right, wide left, and all of the inherent controversial and huge games. We're talking about FSU Miami was a nationally televised event.
Yes.
It was the regular kids who go to the state college versus the private school kid thugs, the semi-pro players.
Right.
It was old school college versus new school college. It was, and everybody up in Tallahassee, of course, and all of their alumni were all very self-righteous. We're just a regular school. We don't go around and recruit around the country. Yes, you do. Stop.
Yeah.
You had Bobby Bowden. You had one of the best coaches in the country, one of the best coaches to ever coach the game of college football, and he was a great recruiter. Look at some of the Hall of Fame, wink, wink, foreshadowing, Hall of Fame players that have passed through Doak Campbell Stadium. So
that may return at some point too soon. Who knows, right? You got one coach on the horizon.
We both know that Primetime's going to end up being the head coach of that team. It's going to happen.
Coach Bowden and the Florida State Seminoles and their influence, their mark on the game of college football is one of the top 2 or 3 in the history of that sport. And again, not just the beauty of college football is it's like you said, you mentioned Hall of Famers, you mentioned, guys that make a mark moving forward in their lives, whether it's in the NFL or not. But it's like the foundational piece is what he helped create for these players so that when they take their next step into life, because college is pretty much where you make your mistakes, where you learn about yourself, where you find your skill and eventual trade or craft, this being football for some. He was able to be such a positive influence on an entire demographical region of the southern part of the United States for so long. It's remarkable who he was as a man, family man too, all these other things. So the accolades will go on and on. He deserves his spot in history as such, being one of the greatest ever.
Listen, there were literal elite prospects. And, a lot of these kids, especially in the 80s and 90s, these elite prospects, they were just looking for the best deal. Okay, the best deal. Which school is going to take care of me? I'm going to go to Texas. Mac Brown's going to, make me take 4 classes a week, and he's going to give me a $500 a week job where I go to some place 3 days a week, I turn a light on, I come back 6 hours later, turn the light off.
And I got a little savings account built up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, they were looking for the best deal, and they leased him a brand new car. All right, at least in some company's name. Try to skirt those rules, those perks rules. Okay, but Bobby Bowden, he sat in a living room with his record behind him. Okay, with his team record behind him, his bona fides, and he sat there across from the parents, and he said, I'm going to make your boy go to class. I'm going to make him get grades. I'm going to make him get good grades, like he's paying attention. I'm going to push your boy to become a man. And that's exactly what he sat right across and looked parents right in the eye.
He produced a lot of men on the field, that's for sure. And off, too.
All you have to do is ask Primetime. Ask Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders, he got a degree.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he went to school. He got his degree. Deion could have played for anybody. He could have gone to the U of M. He could have gone to the U of F. Okay, he could have gone anywhere. Okay, but he went to FSU. Okay, Antrell Roll, FSU. Jameis Winston, FSU. Warwick Dunn, FSU.
There's a lot.
Okay,
there's a lot.
Look at Warwick Dunn, for crying out loud.
That man's doing a lot for community, isn't he?
Oh,
he's got the foundation where he's building houses,
yes.
Isn't he? Yes, for families and stuff, single moms, I think.
Yes.
Mostly. Yeah, it's amazing.
And also, he also donates money to police organizations with single parents that are police officers.
Right.
Which is a tough thing. I mean, we're talking about Bobby Bowden produced productive members of society.
Yeah.
Excellent football players,
of course.
A lot of Hall of Famers, but he produced productive members of society. And even though I'm a huge Miami Hurricanes fan, my heart goes out to his family and friends. He lived to be 91.
It's a good life.
It's a good run.
Yeah, it's a good life.
He left a mark. He left society better than he got it. I'll give him that. And he created some great football moments. I jumped up the first wide right. I jumped up and down, and I banged my shin on a marble coffee table.
Ouch.
And I then proceeded to limp around for the next hour cheering. But it's, I was like, woo, yeah, that's right, bonk, yeah.
Worth the contusion, huh?
Ow, yay, ow, yay. Yeah, it was memorable. It definitely was. But on to slightly, I don't know, happier news, I guess.
Anything could be happier.
The Olympics are over.
Wow.
The Olympics are over.
I watched exactly, I'm going to try and give you a total number of estimate for minutes of watching for me.
3.
No, there was more because, at work the TVs were on. At least one of the TVs had Olympics. So
they made us watch.
So when I was watching, I could tell you this, I watched about 10 minutes of mixed doubles badminton. And
crazy, isn't it?
And at that point, I went to myself and said, it's the Olympics, right? I mean, and actually, you know what? The mixed doubles, I'm guessing they kind of look like husband and wife as well,
right.
Because how they were interacting and stuff. But
right.
It just, to me,
Husband
it's
and
like
wife.
You can't find a better pair to beat this pair somewhere on this planet. But yet these two were competing in the Olympics on a world stage.
That's the funniest thing about the Olympics. Okay, well, we in America think of badminton as something that is in your grandma's backyard during the family barbecue. Once
can
or
I say
twice
something?
A year,
Anytime,
with the kids.
Anything that you can buy out of a dented, broken box at Target that's on the bottom shelf, and it's been returned like 4 times.
In the back.
And not only has like Scotch tape, but it also has duct tape. It's got if it has 3 different tapes on the box. Guess what?
And you can see where they whited out. Somebody wrote, "This game sucks."
When
on the box.
you bring that game back yourself, you'll be the 7th family to use that badminton set.
No, you end up being the uncle that says, "Hey, let's play badminton," and all the kids roll their eyes at you. Oh,
listen,
man.
Diana and I have never played badminton together, but I tell you what, if you gave us about 2 weeks, we would take a set off that couple. I know we would. So I'm just saying, it's like really like we're doing badminton in the Olympics. So
hey, it's a holdover game from I don't know some sort of Asian country. I'm sure.
Back to the question.
I'm a racist, don't cancel me.
26 minutes I've watched.
26 minutes.
26 minutes.
I've watched bits and pieces. Okay, the Olympics were originally based on a series of skill competitions that had practical basis in the real world. The games involved horse riding, running, swimming, wrestling.
There's a lot.
Naked and oil wrestling, but wrestling.
I'm not trying to put it down overall.
Right.
I'm just saying some of the stuff that's in there
It's
is
like, stop it.
it's just a little weird for me. You know, I think I've watched more. I think I've watched more Laugh Olympics in my life
my God.
than I have in terms of the Olympics. Oh, I love the Laugh Olympics. Why did ABC always win? That used to piss me off because I used to watch all
Because
the NBC.
it was on ABC.
No, I know that. But when you were 7 and 8, you're pissed because you're pulling for the bad guys all the time. You're like,
You want the banana splits to win.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's like, can just one time give it to McGilla? But it's like, what are we doing? So, yeah.
Well, our Olympic moment the other night would be I took a break and went to the bathroom, and I watched about 30 seconds of water polo. And then I reminisced with Ami about the one time I played water polo.
Who, by the way, is banned from water polo in his country.
Right.
Not saying why,
Yeah.
but he's banned. Yeah. Unfair advantage. He's broken too many balls.
But he and I told him, I said, you know, we played 4-on-4 legit water polo in an Olympic swimming pool, which at the deep end it was a regulation size.
It was the Marianas Trench.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was 10 feet deep, so you know my 6'4" ass could not touch the bottom. So there was some swimming involved.
It's tough.
And I can tell you, after 10 minutes, I wanted to die. I thought I was like,
I believe it.
I mean, and great sport, a lot of fun,
Sure.
but no, not for large people. Definitely, you see why they're all skinny.
7% of your body is above the water the entire time.
Yeah.
And you're trying to play catch and throw it into a net in
Yeah.
the water. It's whatever, dude. I get it.
And I was sore the next day in areas. I was like, I have a muscle there. I have an armpit muscle.
They should put whirly ball in the Olympics.
I can play whirly ball.
Let's
Watch
do
out.
it. I know. I've heard about it.
Watch out.
We've talked about
whirly
that.
Whirly ball playing. My brother is really good too. Watch out.
We're doing it.
Hell, Roscoe can play. The guru's guru can play.
I'm sure he can.
He can.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get us started. We'll get in some bumper cars.
Yeah.
We'll go at it.
Let's
but
do it.
there's a lot of There's a lot of weird sports at the Olympics. But the funniest thing about this whole Olympics was the hissy fit. First of all, the hissy fit by Djokovic losing the tennis semifinals, and then coming back and then having another hissy fit about Simone Biles pulling out of the gymnastics all around and then the individuals. And
Yeah, I read
it was
that
like,
too. A little hypocritical.
what do you care?
Yeah, it's like tennis.
Why?
Listen, tennis players should hang out with tennis players. I think gymnastic people should hang out with gymnastic people.
Sure. Well, that's kind of what Olympic Village does. I mean, the people do cross. You know, they cross over sports and everything. But
It's like the different lands at the Universal or
and
wherever
let me
it is.
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. All these girls that substituted
Epcot, is it? Yeah.
that substituted or went in place of Simone Biles or meddled in spite of because of her absence.
Yeah.
Do you think those girls give a shit?
Nope,
I mean, honestly,
not at all.
So.
No.
Whatever.
No, because everyone there deserves
we
to be
had
there.
to Americanize it. We had to find something to bitch about.
Yeah.
So.
And there's a lot of going on of that.
Oh,
as
my
well.
God. Don't even get me started.
A lot of anti-this, anti-that.
Yeah. Have you gotten vaccinated yet?
Nope.
What's wrong with you?
I'm fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
Achoo.
Achoo.
Hack a loogie.
Oh, we just had
It's my back. Can you get COVID back?
Yes, you got.
I got COVID back.
COVID affects you. You've had it. You know.
I
You
got
had
COVID,
lower back pain.
I got COVID back.
I remember when you had COVID. You
Yeah.
brought it over my damn house.
Oh, it's so bad.
I remember that. It was early March
Yes, it was.
of 2020.
Yeah, you were still in the house.
And you were sick. You were like, oh, I got a little bug. I don't know. My lower back hurts.
Who knew I would cripple the world for a year from that point on?
You patient zero.
But you know what? I led the charge. I was
Patient
like,
zero.
put me out there in front. Let me deal with this and let everybody know that it's going to be okay. So, yeah.
And you know what's really funny? At that time, we weren't really familiar with all the symptoms of COVID.
No, everybody was
we
dying.
Really weren't.
Yeah.
So, people were like, what do you mean 10,000 people are sick today?
Yeah.
And 5 people died? Oh, so this thing's serious. How do you know if you got COVID? We had no idea. Oh, you have flu and cold symptoms. No, now we're finding out it's extreme fatigue. It's
everything.
Upper respiratory distress.
It's whatever you feel,
It's
you got COVID.
Body aches like worse than flu.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, my lower back is all jacked up. I'm like, well, your lower back is always jacked up. No, this is worse than regular. And
yeah, that's
I was like, dude, you can have COVID. Get out of my house. But you were in the house for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, we fought through it together.
We fought through it together.
I appreciate that.
You're the reason why I didn't go to work for 7 months.
And then you went out and got your chest ripped open, and then got COVID. So you were like, watch this.
I'm an overachiever.
You're like, I got this.
You forget the big bug bite.
Yeah,
I still got a hole in my forehead.
I was like, what the hell was that? Maybe you were patient zero. Maybe you brought COVID here.
No, I was just the gooch.
Maybe it was a bat that bit you, not a bug.
Right? I was the gooch, man. Because let me tell you what, I was the mush of my own life at that 2020.
We talked about this before. Gooch.
But enough of the suck.
Yeah.
So the Olympics are over, and Thursday night, as soon as the Hall of Fame game kicked off, baseball ended. So that's over with, right?
Sorry.
Baseball is over?
Which baseball?
Baseball?
Women's?
What? Who watches baseball now? Football is on.
Holy crap. Yeah, you're right. The playoffs are starting soon, I guess.
Which, by the way, doubling back, call back to the Olympics, the men's baseball team won gold. We invented the sport. So.
Yeah, well, technically we didn't. But
the
Chinese invented
we
everything.
Improved it.
Yes, we did.
We made it professional.
Yes, we did.
So, baseball.
And now we're sharing stats in baseball, too.
Baseball, because we were off last week.
Yes.
So we've had a little time. The trade deadline's come and gone.
A lot of players moved. Oh, man, a lot of winners.
The Spankies got more masculine.
Every single team in Major League Baseball moved someone. All 32 teams made a move just before the trade, up to the trade deadline.
Yeah, well, the Spankies got more Italian, so that was a
did
definite
get a few
improvement.
Guineas, few left-handed guineas, yeah. Joey and Rizzo.
Yeah.
So, which, by the way, I will say this about the Yankees:
that would be Joey and Ant.
They're on fire. They're on fire.
Anthony Rizzo.
I think they won yesterday. Would have been 6 straight, like 8 of 9, 11 of 13.
Just long balling the crap out of it.
They're hitting the ball. They are, I think, now a game and a half behind the second wild card spot. Now, I will stand by my guns and say that the Yankees are not going to win the division. That's a foregone conclusion. They've got to jump too many teams. But I had originally said they were going to have a really hard time even getting to the playoffs because, again, you got to figure at least one of the teams from that same division that are not going to win are going to get that first wild card spot. So basically, you've got about 4 teams fighting for that second spot. 5 teams now.
All 4 of them are hot right now, so anything can happen, man.
The Yankees are making a run for it. Prior to the Rizzo trade and Gallo trade, the Yankees, this is now, again, about a week and a half ago, I think they were a 31% chance to make the playoffs. Following the trade, they went up to 38%. Now, that was prior to this little bit of a win streak. They were in the middle of it, but it hadn't. Now it's the last 13, 14 games. They're, I guess, 12-2.
Prior to this 19 home run in 4 game streak?
Yeah, so I haven't looked today. Those numbers will update. They update daily. You win a game, lose a game, it goes down 1% or 2%, whatever. But still, it's getting closer to the end, so there's certainly they don't have a lot of time to catch up all that ground. I think we're inside of about 50 games to go. So this is where we're at. The Yankees are looking in. Boston's still playing really well in the division. Tampa has the best record in baseball.
Boston and Tampa are pushing each other farther away from everybody.
Yeah, the Giants and the Dodgers are still swinging it out in the West, so it's still exciting. The Mets made a bunch of trades, but now they're starting to suffer a little bit in terms of the standings. I think the Phillies coming into yesterday were a game and a half out.
Let me tell you a little something about the Mets. Okay, a couple weeks ago, after the trade deadline, and the Marlins had their usual clear out of all their expensive players, or relatively expensive players. Starling Marte being chief amongst them, who, by the way, is tearing it up in Oakland.
Man, the kid can still play.
He is going to keep Oakland in that wild card spot. I'll tell you for a fact.
Well, their offense was really struggling prior to him getting there.
Yeah.
Still a little bit but that kid's dynamic. He's still playing.
Yeah, we love him.
Steals and still hitting the ball.
But going into that weekend, and here come the Yankees with Rizzo and Gallo, and it's Murderers Row, and they came into town and they swept us. And it really wasn't that much of a massacre.
No, the Marlins were competitive in the whole series.
They were competitive the whole series, but it was like 3-1.
Yeah.
4-1.
Well, again, why?
4-2.
Why? Because the Marlins can pitch.
Ball.
Well, the Marlins can pitch.
The Marlins, but it was long ball. It was, it was, we lost 3-1. The series ender, the go home game, we lost 3-1, and it was, I think, 3 solo home runs.
Yeah.
3 solo shots. Otherwise, the Marlins pitching struck out like 9, 10. But the Yankees were DGAF, man. They were just like, smash, smash, smash. Rizzo, I hope he's only a rental for you. I think because the Marlins are gearing up to spend money next year.
They need bats.
And I think that's a guy you spend money on.
Sure.
He's a local boy. He's from Parkland.
Right. But that has to be the beginning of the full commitment because they have to then go out and get more guys.
He's a centerpiece.
You don't. The Marlins offense is not one hitter away.
Right.
They're a lineup away.
But he's a centerpiece of a lineup.
No question. But now again, I mean, granted, he's a better player than Jesus Aguilar, but I like Jesus Aguilar.
But he can hit behind Aguilar.
Well, the thing is that where are you going to put Aguilar?
Or Aguilar can hit behind him.
Where are you going to put Aguilar?
First base.
Where's Rizzo going to play?
Outfield.
They're not putting Rizzo in the outfield.
Put him in right field.
They need those. No, they need him. They need his legs. They need him healthy, swinging the bat. They're not bringing Rizzo over to play right field.
Okay, then you got to trade Aguilar. Then
I think you have to move him.
I hate it. I hate to say it because he's the personality of the team. But
so that's a tough slide.
But listen, they have the pieces in place.
They need to put the DH in the National League.
They have a leadoff hitter or a number 2 guy, Jazz Chisholm.
Really good. He's really good.
Young ball
and
player.
Listen, Rojas is hitting the ball. He's a solid slap guy.
There's your 6 hitter.
Yeah, or 7 maybe down the line, but that's a guy that can play great defense, and the guy's not going to hurt you offensively.
Spark plug in the bottom.
He doesn't hurt you. He doesn't hurt you offensively.
So they need to get. I think they need to get 2 guys in the middle of the order, the 3 and the 4 hitter. Okay, the catalysts.
Well, they need some pop in that lineup.
Exactly. Yeah. You get the 3 and the 4.
Because that makes a lineup. Even bringing in 2 guys makes the other guys just so much better.
Right.
Because now it comes down to pitch selection. That's why you always hear about, you're putting guys behind certain guys to protect them, to create positive hitting environments. So this is what they're doing. So putting a few bats in there make guys like, again, not to say he doesn't get traded, but Aguilar, they get to see better pitches. Yeah. Why? Because there may be guys on base in front of them.
The only problem is with Aguilar defensively, you don't know where to put him unless they change to all.
Well, my point though is in terms of the value of the hitters that come over. Not only is their value, but the value of the players around them. They make those players better. They make the lineup better, more productive, and that's all about scoring runs. That's how you win games. So,
well, I mean, look at Jack Clark in San Francisco. Great player, with or without Barry Bonds. When Bonds came to town, I put him in the Hall of Fame. Simple as that. I mean, Jack was a great player, no doubt. His body of work before Barry Bonds came along, 4 or 5 years, already showed that he was an all-star level player. Barry Bonds shows up, changes the complexion for everybody on the team. Okay, now Bonds is an extreme case with his controversial steroid use or human growth hormone use or whatever asterisk. Put all the asterisks on you want. Put him in the hall.
I got an asterisk for you.
What?
That dude saw 3 pitches a game.
Yeah. I
know,
right?
And he hit 2 of them out of the park.
Right.
So I don't care what you shoot in your ass or your shoulder or wherever you're putting it in a vial. There wasn't a man on the planet that was hitting the ball like he was for 10 years.
And the pitcher located it in one place that the scouting report said throw it. And
here's what I'm saying.
Hit it.
Here's what I'm saying. Is everybody in baseball was trying to be him and had the same opportunity. Okay, they had the same doctors or better. They have just as much money as he did to get the same crap.
Smaller, tighter hats.
If people are saying that these are the reasons why, did everybody else not have those same reasons or options in their repertoire they could have go to? No. Barry Bonds was and perhaps is the greatest power hitter of all time.
time.
It's not even close.
No,
it's
time.
not even close.
Not even Josh Gibson.
He hit in a stadium, oh, by the way, that is second to last in terms of home runs allowed.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put that in there as well, okay? So not only was he not seeing pitches to hit, but he was hitting in the worst ballpark for home runs.
Great
and
food.
he still hit him out of the park.
Great food, pretty
So,
park,
if-
Bell Park.
I don't care what he took or what went in those vials, or how big his head was. There was one Barry Bonds, and that's a wrap. Okay, there was never. Go watch any of his videos. Oh my God, he was facing the best guys, the best pitchers, in the best situations, and either they were afraid to pitch to him, or if they did, he smashed them. So
Okay.
go Barry Bonds.
Okay.
Yeah, that pisses
Didn't
me
mean
off.
to push a button.
Yeah, you
I-
get the
I
baseball stuff. I'm jacked up today. I got a lot of baseball stuff in my mind, and I am ready. So, plus you said there's no baseball. Really?
There is no baseball.
Are you kidding me? That's incredible.
Baseball is over.
Whatever. Next.
That Hall of Fame game was pretty atrocious. But what do we expect from the very first preseason game in 2 years?
8 of the last 10 Hall of Fame games have gone to the under. So again, yeah, it's easy to look back and say, well, they're not ready. They're not playing their starters. It's the first of everything.
Everything.
It's baby steps on both sides of the ball.
Everything.
You're playing about everybody that you brought into camp. There can't be any sort of cohesion or game plan for that.
No.
It's just you have your team, and there are 5 guys that are on the bubble. And you're looking at those 5 guys in spots
Yeah.
and how they perform. Okay.
Exactly.
It's not a game plan to win. It's not set up for any other reasons. So
I mean, each team has 73 players right now. They're going to have 73 players until the end of August when
Right.
they do the
first
big
cut.
day.
Oh, okay.
Just the big cut day.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, players will come and go.
Right.
You know,
and they'll assign guys to the practice squad.
Exactly.
And they'll move guys back and forth based on history and
You know,
injuries and stuff.
Larry, the 4th string guard, really sucks. He just really sucks. He's got to go. Get rid of him. We'll get another guy in here. We can go get this kid from Northern Illinois Tech. A trade school. The guy who played JUCO ball that could do better than Larry. Larry sucks. Larry's got to go.
Yeah.
But it is a survival of the fittest situation. And at this juncture in training camps, you're just trying to get everybody to the line. You're just trying to get everybody to run a play.
You know what, too? Some of these guys aren't even auditioning for their own team that they're on the field for.
No, they're just getting stuff on tape.
A lot of these guys are going to other teams. A lot of these times get dropped and then picked up and put on somebody else's practice squad.
Oh, yeah.
So it's an audition at best, and it's either for your own team based on whatever scenarios work for that team, or in some cases for other teams that you're either playing for or are watching film, and that's
Right.
all they're doing. So,
Well, I would say chief amongst those guys would be a young gentleman who signed a developmental contract. Former number 15 overall pick Dwayne Haskins, quarterback from Ohio State University, formerly of the Washington football team.
Yes.
And young man has been drawing rave reviews from your favorite head coach about how he has matured,
Nice.
how he has learned the professional quarterback position.
oh, he's a changed man.
And his number, he was 7 for 13 in
Okay.
the Hall of Fame game.
Sure.
He had command of the huddle.
Wow.
He had command of the players.
command of all those guys.
He was in charge. I mean, listen, like I said, your first preseason game, you're just trying to get everybody to get to the line and not jump off sides. You're trying to get everybody to get to the line and execute a basic play from your playbook. 26 dive right on 3, ready, break. Clap, bang, boom, go to the line, set up, and then you got pre-snap motions. Okay, everything's good. Okay, yeah. And
Well, here's the beauty of what you're
and
saying.
Steve went in motion like he was supposed
Is
to.
we know that he'll get a chance to play this year because Ben's good for 12 out of the 17.
Oh, my God.
So Haskins will get a shot. There's no question there. He'll get a shot to be this new guy.
What Duck Dynasty angle? What's the guy's name again? The
Buck Rogers, which I watched last night. No, it's Duck.
Duck.
Duck. All right. Anyway,
Oh my God. He's going to be the primary back.
and Mason Rudolph was trying to throw the ball there too. They'll probably cut him.
Why? He's capable.
He is capable.
He's 5-4.
The Cowboys. Are any of those Cowboys quarterbacks capable that we saw in that game? Cooper Rush But
listen,
the other guy sounds like
Cooper Rush sounds like a quarterback.
The other guy sounds like a pasta dish. Hey, give me some ganoush.
You got Ben DiNucci.
Ganoush. Give me some.
You got Ben DiNucci with meatballs.
Yeah, and a little side
Ben's
of
a
pasta.
good guy.
Hey.
Hey, Ben's a good guy.
Don't put no oregano in your ganoush.
Ben had a start. He had a start under his belt last year.
Those guys
Ben was all right.
Listen, Dak Prescott better not get hurt again because that team and those quarterbacks, wow. Listen, we'll get to it, but the importance of a backup quarterback in this league are crucial. Everybody's darling out there in Kansas City had two quarterbacks in two different big spots save his ass and his team. Henny being one, both ex-Dolphins, by the way, and Matt Moore being the other.
Yep.
So the importance of having a backup quarterback in the NFL is huge. Ask the two dominant sports franchises over the last 15 years. Ask the Patriots, and I think after the first 3-4 games, ask the Saints how important it is to have a franchise quarterback. You know what they should do? They should change it, and when you start talking about it, you should put the word quarterback first. It should be the quarterback's franchise. Because what happens if you don't have that quarterback, then you typically don't have a good franchise, regardless of if everything is in place. Because the Patriots haven't changed, same coaching, same ownership,
and they call it the quarterback room. The quarterback unit is a quarterback unit.
Belichick, it was Belichick's way. It was his system. So it's everything. The only thing that's gone is Brady, and the Patriots are not the same football team. Well, so change it now. From now on, I don't look at these quarterbacks as franchise quarterbacks.
Right.
I look at the franchises being the quarterbacks. So it's quarterback franchises from now on for me.
Right. Well, listen. You want to lend a military analogy to football. The quarterback is the platoon sergeant. He is the sergeant in charge of the platoon. Okay.
Is he the big toe? Is he Sergeant
He's
Hulka?
the big toe. He is Sergeant Hulka.
He's the big toe.
He's going to teach you to walk, talk, shoot, shit, just like in a run. So
it's so good.
He is definitely the sergeant of the platoon, whichever platoon it is. On the defense, I would say either the safety or the middle linebacker would be the sergeant of that platoon. And there are 11 guys, 10 guys, and the sergeant. Okay,
it's such a good movie.
And when you shut up, I'm getting too old for this shit.
Okay, Francis.
Yeah. We can do this all day.
Yeah, don't call me Francis
all day.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So
I got to get it together. Yeah, it's so
like,
good.
Compose yourself. Look at he's getting giggly. Look, he's changing colors. It's great. So
good movie.
So you equate them to being the sergeant of the platoon, and of course the head coach would be the colonel of the team, of the garrison, of whichever.
Right.
But that guy makes it all happen. That's for sure.
The most important piece.
Yeah.
If it's chess, if it's whatever, any strategic
why are they
game.
getting paid $40 majillion? Because they're really good at what they do.
Wait, segue. Why is he included in all of the discussions for the organization, except for in Green Bay? Why is that so important to do that? Okay, this is part of the reasons why.
The
obviously
face that runs the place.
Yeah, you need to. That position is the position in all of sports.
Yeah.
Without getting it right, the nothing else works.
We can slide into fantasy football a little bit here.
Sure.
Okay, which with Mazz Hysteria, we're going to get into that as well. Yeah. But sliding into fantasy football here for a second, Dak Prescott his fate is tied to the fate of 7 fantasy football positions. Yeah. For those of you who have kickers in your league, 8. Yeah, 8. Because let me tell you, with Dak Prescott, okay, starting from the lowest valued fantasy player, defense, special teams, or kicker, okay, with a good quarterback like Dak Prescott, you're going to get longer drives. You're going to get more rest for your defense. You're going to have leads, which defenses play different with leads or with a tight game or a big lead. Okay. Now, Dallas has a new defensive coordinator. They are running the Seattle-type Legion of Boom defense. Micah Parsons showed that he belongs immediately.
Yeah, he
belongs.
Which
what did I tell you? What did I tell you? If Micah Parsons slides down to that 20 slot or 19 slot where the Dolphins were, He does not get by the Dolphins, and he didn't get by the Cowboys. And I think that Micah Parsons is the smartest draft choice that the Jones family has made in a long time.
Yeah, they hit that one out of the park.
Time.
But again, why he fell to that point only was because of teams' needs, and it's so ridiculous.
He also fell to that point because of a perceived off-the-field attitude problem, which they found out.
But again, all these players are vetted so much.
Right.
So that information, if it came out past...
All it takes is the assistant linebacker coach to say,
we'll talk
he's
about
an asshole.
In relation to you open this with fantasy football and stuff.
Right.
One of the mistakes that we'll talk about is when you're building your team or looking at your team, you sometimes will say, well, I need a receiver. Okay, maybe you've drafted two running backs, your quarterback, whatever the case. So you'll go out and then reach or look for a receiver to fit your team slot, but that receiver may not be the best player available. So in this particular draft, where Micah Parsons falls to that number, when it's all said and done, he may be the third best player to ever come out of that first round.
Right.
Now, who's the fool there? The other 17 teams that passed him because they needed a tight end or they needed a defensive end or whatever their particular need was.
He didn't apply to their needs.
Same thing happens in fantasy drafts.
Right.
Is we look at players and we think that because we need a position filled, we go out and get that who we feel is the best player at that position, if we're lucky.
Right.
Oftentimes we just take a player because we need a position filled. But again, you're looking at 7, 8 other players on the board that will give you greater value. No difference in the NFL.
Well, don't pass on fantasy advice. We told everybody in one of our fantasy leagues to watch this.
Well, hopefully they are watching.
We can't tell them how to beat us.
Actually, you can. You want to know why? Because this is what happens.
Remember, we have 2 of the last 3 belts, dude.
People will take our advice and not use it. Because
it's beautiful.
And that's why I'm giving it.
It's beautiful.
I don't want them to read that somewhere else from another expert and go, oh, wow, that's a good idea. No, I want them to hear from me and then disagree with me and do something else and lose. That's what happens. That's why I talk about it.
Listen, I know for a fact that if Saquon Barkley falls to number 12, Joe will draft him. Or he'll draft him at number 13 just to be spiteful.
Yeah.
But Saquon Barkley is not going to make it out of the first round, even though he's injured, even though he may not come back for 3 games.
Yeah.
He may not play until the 3rd or 4th game. Okay, but he's not going to make it out of the first round.
No.
Because we have that blue wall right there at the end of the first round.
Let me
at the beginning of the second round.
All right, we'll hold off on some of the in terms of unless you want to go into draft strategy.
Wait, no, let's get back to my original point.
Okay, sorry.
Dak Prescott,
Yes.
the quarterback, but Dak Prescott specifically, his health hinges on so many fantasy players, from, like I said, the defense to the kicker, more opportunities to score, more points. Connor Barwin, who could end up being their tight end.
Jarwin.
Blake Jarwin.
Yeah.
Where am I? Connor Barwin. Oh, anyway, Blake Jarwin, supposedly a breakout tight end. He's not going to be a breakout tight end with Danucci throwing to him.
Yeah.
Okay. Danucci is not going to get him good numbers.
No, he's not.
Okay. And then you look at that trio of receivers. Okay. You got to think CeeDee Lamb is going to have a breakout year.
Listen,
with a guy like Dak Prescott.
They've been touting the offensive line for the last 6 years. Okay, about how good the offensive line is. Now they're aging. Okay, there's been issues there on the offensive line side too.
I understand,
but they do have
drafted guys.
They do have a shit ton of talent on the offensive side.
I threw away the jar. It's okay. You can curse all you want. F-E-F-F-F.
Ezekiel Elliott, though, I will say this.
I was going to get to him, but go ahead.
Yards per carry have gone down every year since he's been in the league.
Right.
So, again, numbers.
That's tied to offensive line. That's tied to availability of your quarterback.
It's tied to a lot of things, but it is a notable stat to look at your lead guy who they built the offense around. You like to hear throw those terms around. You built the offense around his numbers have gone down every year.
Yeah, but okay. That's because there's been situations where they can put 8 and 9 guys in the box, and he's been playing hurt.
Dak Prescott, before he got hurt, was throwing 400 yards a game.
Right.
And he was throwing 400.
I'm not talking about Dak. I'm talking about Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh, but you're talking about because Dak was hurt and other things around him, Zach couldn't put up the numbers he normally puts up.
Right.
And I'm saying that when Dak was healthy for that first 4 or 5 game stretch before he snapped his leg in 3 places, he was throwing the ball. Their offense was won in football. They were throwing the ball all over the field.
I know.
I don't think Zeke is the 30 carry guy anymore. I don't think they want him to be that anymore.
He doesn't have to be now.
But he hasn't been. That's what I'm saying. Listen, Dak's coming back from a major injury. And even though I don't think that particular injury is going to be the issue for them overall, when you start nicking and chinking and little pieces of the armor here, little piece there, offensive line is aging.
Did you say chinking?
Chinking? Chink the armor?
Chinks in the armor?
Chinks in the Wow, that's awkward. Yeah, take that back. Scratch that from the tape.
Sorry, I'm supposed to be a triggered libtard, so I'm supposed to say every little thing
Chinks in the armor.
That's racist. So go ahead.
You can have a chink in the armor, can't you?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so
it's called humor.
When you have all these things that are breaking you down, okay, and working against you, it's going to be very hard for the Cowboys to, just because they got Dak back for that. And again, looking at the talent that you said, it's still the Cowboys. It's still the Cowboys, and their road is not any easier today as it was, let's say, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. They're not in any better shape, okay? And the results to this point haven't been good. They've been the same. They haven't seen the playoffs in how long? 25 years?
Well, what I'm telling you is that the potential is very high for a big turnaround for several fantasy positions.
All right.
Okay, including a return to relevancy for Ezekiel Elliott.
We'll see.
Okay, we're talking about an offensive line that is getting back 3 injured starters, an offensive line that has had a lot of young guys get a lot of experience, and they played pretty okay. I mean, they did all right, except for the 2 times against Washington. But who plays well against that front 5 first-round draft choices on the Washington defensive line? So yeah,
that defense is going to be good for a long time. They're really good.
Scary. They drafted a linebacker. Riverboat Ron doubled down. So defense and more defense and more defense.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go get an old quarterback.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get more defense.
Yeah.
And all we're gonna have to do is score 13 points a game. Why? Because you're not scoring 6.
The defense is good.
Yeah, it's killer. Absolutely.
For the first time, I haven't done this yet this year. Is I just did a mock draft just now. Obviously, simulated it. Didn't make
just
any
now.
picks.
I did like 3 yesterday.
I haven't done any yet. And again, when we do talk a little bit, and we can go ahead and start talking about fantasy football now.
Okay.
I got to be honest. I'm not.
I want to talk about soccer. I want to talk about Messi leaving Barcelona.
Yeah, okay. I'm not hip on the players as yet, even though I know where people are and stuff like that. And I'm not even on so much as value as in terms of approach. So when we start talking about it, I want to talk about approach. Now, I'm going to lead with, we had our draft selection yesterday in our home league.
Right.
And basically, they took my advice finally after several years. And again, why not have more into your draft, more thought, more strategy, more planning? Was instead of just arbitrarily picking the number, and that number is where you pick in the draft, they did it where I suggested was to whatever number selected is the order in which you get to decide where you want to draft. Now, I was given number 1 yesterday, and for the last week or two, I've been busting Joe's ass, telling him, Joe, just give me the 11 pick, just give me the 11 pick, just give me the 11 pick. All right, and he's like, whatever. What if you get the number 1? I'm like, Joe, just give me the 11 pick. Okay, so
more things that he was wrong about.
I get the 1. He calls me yesterday on the first phone call. He goes, you're the 1. He goes, you really want the 11 pick? I went, yes, I really want the 11 pick. And that was it. That was our conversation. Now, why am I taking the 11th pick?
Many things you are mistaken about this, my young friend.
Why am I taking the 11th pick when I can clearly take, let's see, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook? Who doesn't want these guys on their team?
Right.
Alvin Kamara, Ezekiel Elliott. We just talked about 4th overall. Wow, he's having a big year. Derrick Henry. This kid I had last year, I got him in the 4th round, Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis. He's number 6 overall.
Wow.
Again, mock.
Wow.
Then a receiver, Devontae, and then your boy, or I should say Joe's boy, Shaq Barkley. Call him Shaq.
Shaq.
Mini Shaq Barkley. So again, that gets into the first round.
That's Sack, actually.
Yeah, but it's
Shaq
Barkley. Okay, why did I take 11? Okay, this is strategy. I took 11 because
you want Nick Chubb.
We went back the last 3 years and looked at first round selections and first round value.
Right.
And what these players are. You're taking a guy in the first round, guess what? He better kick ass for your team. He better be your star, right?
We've been talking about this for 3 years.
Well, the reality of it is this, is that less than 25% of all those selections, okay, 3 years, 12 guys, 36 guys, 7 guys okay, either hit value or exceeded first-round value.
Right.
7 guys. Now, is that anybody's fault? No, because, again, this is consensus experts. These guys, they do this for a living. They're picking the same guys we are, okay? It's not like they have some secret sauce that they've created that, oh, wow, no way.
I have secret sauce.
Derrick Henry, 5th overall. I didn't know that. Wow, it's amazing. Okay. But here's what happens is after it all plays out, these guys don't hit value. So why would I want to get myself in a position where I'm theoretically picking first? I had the first pick. Give me the first pick overall. When you pick the first pick overall in a snake draft, you have to wait, depending on how many guys are in your league, maybe 25 picks before you get to pick number 2. So if you know that you have a 75% chance of missing on one, man, you better get that next guy right. You better have hope that the next 24 guys that were taken are not better than your guy, because if he is, you got a world of trouble. You got a big hill to climb. I feel like you don't necessarily win your drafts in the early rounds, but you can lose them. You can definitely lose them, either by setting up your draft strategy so that you're a part of the train. And what I mean by that alludes to about talent as well, is when you start seeing receivers go in your mindset, you're like, oh man, I better get a receiver. The receiver's going to be going. And then what happens? You don't get the receiver that should be in that particular spot. You get who? The 6th, the 7th, the 8th best guy.
You fall for the run.
Right. Go the other way. Be the other guy. Okay, be the other guy. Watch
5
these running
receivers
backs
go, and there is the number 8th ranked running back on the board sitting there.
Whatever it is, if he's the 8th best player and he happens to be a running back, guess who you're taking? You better take that effing running back.
Right.
Because here's what happens.
But I already have 2 running backs.
Take him again. It doesn't matter.
Now you have 3.
Because here's what happens now. Because not only have you taken that player away from the pool, you've taken that great player out of the pool. He's now yours.
Why are you giving this great advice to the people
I'm
that
almost
are
done
playing
because
against?
I want to beat him and give him the right way to do it too. It makes it even better.
Because they ignore us.
Last
and we
point
beat them anyway.
is that when all these people are taking the position that you don't need right now, guess what? When you finally go the other way, they're not going to be going back into the pool again for the positions that you need. So you're always on the other side of what those players need.
Don't listen to him. He has no idea what he's talking about.
I'm telling you guys.
Don't listen to him. Don't.
A lot of this,
Don't.
The only thing that we have control over is the ability to come into this with a plan and to follow your league and to understand the guys that are in your league. And I think I have a pretty good handle on most of them.
I want to see the top 8 picks in our league. I want everybody to pick a running back. Everybody get a running back.
Well, here's what's happening.
You want a running back.
I can tell you that.
You want a running back. My Jedi mind trick. You want a running back.
I can tell you this. I can tell you that 2 of the picks in the first 12 are going to be Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. So guess what? 2 guys are going off my board that were never in my line of vision anyway. Do this.
It's true.
Go into your draft and realize that you're not going to have these guys on your team, okay? Which means that there are going to be other great players to be taken in lieu of those guys.
Sure.
Okay, so now there are 2 quarterbacks off the board of the first 12. Okay, now you're in there somewhere. Find out who you're going to take. Okay, and again, going back to why I picked 11, because guess what I'm getting? I'm getting the best, probably wide receiver at that point in the draft, if not the best 1 or 2. And then
you pick after me. You better trust and believe.
And then 2 picks later, I probably get the best 4th or 5th player overall in the NFL. Just because those other 10, 11 guys behind me, 7 or 8 of them are going to fail. So the numbers are on my side, that I'm getting that guy that maybe should have been taken earlier on, but wasn't, because everybody's got to take the running back, or everybody's got to take that guy. Got to take Mahomes, best quarterback in football.
Well, you're using double reverse psychology, because now they're all going to take wide receivers, the top 10 picks. And then you're going to be stuck with the choice of running backs.
No, they won't. No, they won't. No, they won't. It doesn't change. It happens every year. I'm looking at it right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the first 10 guys are running backs.
When does Allen go? When does Josh Allen go? 3rd.
Let's see. I got to look at quarterback. Mahomes.
I know Mahomes goes 5th.
These guys are experts. They know what they're doing. So Mahomes was the first to go in round 3. Okay.
In round 3.
These guys get it. Now, again, I wouldn't take quarterback in round 3.
No, I'm talking about our draft.
Oh, in our draft?
Yeah.
Where does Josh Allen go?
Yeah.
First round.
First round?
It won't be in the first 5 picks, 6 picks, because those will be running backs.
What about Mahomes?
First round. Okay. Or worst case.
He's going number 5.
Oh,
I know who picks 5th.
okay. Well, first round. So I'm saying first round. So both those guys are gone.
Okay.
Let's talk about
I
Patrick
hope they
Mahomes
go
for a
before
while.
the number 9 pick, because that's me.
Do they know that Patrick Mahomes, I think 2 years ago, I don't have his touchdown numbers from last year because I'm not stat guy yet for football. I'm still a baseball guy. But 2 years ago,
Transitioning.
I think was like 14th or 15th in the league in total touchdown passes. I think he had like 28 touchdowns or something like that. I mean, you could have gotten 10 quarterbacks in the 10th round or later. Now, again, not overall production, but just touchdowns, which is a big part of most leagues. What I'm saying is that just be different. If you want to win your league, be different.
Be different.
Well, here you go. Be different. Listen,
Chalk.
I am
chalky. Chalk.
My job is to teach, is to help people
Not
be
these
successful.
People. Not these people.
But again,
we actually sent them a text link for them to check out the show.
My confidence level for those guys, anybody.
We got a couple of ignorant responses, but at least I'm telling you right now, they're all watching. They're all watching. They may not admit it. They may not want to admit it. They may say, "No, I didn't watch." You're watching. I know you're watching, and you're giving them advice.
You know what's going to happen?
And I want to put a third belt on the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk wall.
Well,
whether
then,
it's you or it's me, I want that third belt.
No, it's. I'm planning on being me. I mean, you're good too, and you're competitive,
third
and
belt,
your teams
fourth
are good.
championship, because
But yeah,
I've got 2, and then
coming.
you will have 1, or I'll have 3.
I got Danny's. I got 2 in the last. I got a championship each of the last 2 years.
Danny's not. Danny's league probably isn't going to happen.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, yeah, there's little malfeasance with that league.
Oh, okay.
And Danny has too much of a life to have to go ahead and chase people down.
Okay, that's fine.
But I mean, hey, I know a guy.
Well,
you want to go get your money.
Danny's
I know a guy.
league, I won 2 years ago. Last year in his league, I finished 3rd.
Right.
And then obviously last year I won this league.
Right.
I'm on to something here the last couple of years.
But
I really
stop
feel.
telling them.
So it's going to be fun this year.
Stop telling them.
It's going to be fun. So. I'm also 4 years running beating what's his name for entry.
Think about draft day and all the crap that they talk. Think about draft day and all the nonsense that we hear. Don't advise these people.
Well, I'm looking forward to them coming up to me, wondering who I'm taking. What do you think about this guy? So
what do you know?
It's going to be fun.
How long have you been playing fantasy football anyway?
About 6 months. 7 months, I think it is.
Literally, how long have you been playing?
Since 92, I think, since probably right out of college, when I was living back down here and reading my stats in the back of the Sun Sentinel. So it would have been about 92. So 30 years?
Yeah.
30 years?
29, 30
years.
seasons, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the Screwy Louie Football League, when I first started,
Yeah.
That would be our 31st season.
Yeah.
Started in 91. We drafted. We had a draft, 14 teams at a place called Pro Putt, an indoor putt joint.
Wow.
Which was great. That place was awesome.
30 years ago.
And we did
when
it
there was no internet.
Right? No internet. Spiral notebooks.
Yeah.
The whole 9.
You look at your beeper and you're like,
Fantasy Football
what code
Index.
is that? Oh, yeah.
No,
He's good.
Fantasy Football Index was the Bible. It's still the Bible.
Yeah.
It's still in this household. It was. There was a ceremony, or there was a ceremonious occasion when the guru's guru comes in and says, "Ha," and he's got a stack like this. He's got all of them. So yeah, so about 30 years with you, 31 years with me. What do we know? Don't listen to us.
Again, just because we do things, I do things for a long time doesn't make us good at it. But I think the last several years, I think certainly for myself, I don't want to say stumble onto something, but I've found ways to just find out what's really important. The draft is important. It's good to be prepared. It's good to know not only
Stop telling them
things, but just have a plan, stick to your plan, and then just be diligent and just be aware and listen a lot to. Just read a lot too. Read the internet. Read the sports sites. You mentioned a book. I have a book that I bought. I forget the name of the guys that I bought 2 years ago. It's really,
whatever
really good.
you do, don't get the Fantasy Football Index.
But
Whatever
I remember going into Publix like for a week or so, waiting for them to put those books on the shelf, knowing it was coming, and then getting those whatever fantasy books. That was one of them. I think Fantasy Index was one of them. There was 2 or 3 of them usually that I got. But yeah, that's just
it's worthless.
It's a glorious time.
It's a rag.
Yeah. So anyway, take your quarterback first, and then also go for a kicker if you can, maybe 4th or 5th round.
Yes, I highly recommend kickers.
There's good kickers out there. So
Defense and special teams in the 4th round. You want to make sure you get the best one. Make sure it's the Steelers.
team defense. That's another one we need to kind of just discuss at some point in these
What,
leagues.
team defense?
Like, what are we doing with these teams?
Well, remember, it's defense and special teams as well.
Even worse.
Quit it. Stop
Anyway,
it. Hey,
I'll save it because one of the questions in the Mazz
hey,
Hysteria
'cause, what do we know?
is that. So
What do we know? Look at the screen. What do we know?
I don't know anything.
don't know.
Look at that guy.
What do we know?
That's a couple of belts. That's the same belt.
What
Look
do
at
we
that.
know?
That's nice.
Yeah,
Back to back.
exactly. So, what do we know?
Back to back.
This time last year, actually next week will be the first anniversary of me getting my chest exploded.
Yeah.
And last year's fantasy football I couldn't attend because of A, COVID, B, my health.
Yeah.
I sent the guru's guru, who did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you get Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry? Bang, bang. 1-2, first and second round. So, special sauce, I got special sauce. It's called Guru's Barbecue.
Period. Like it.
So, other than that, because we are, once again, let me remind you, back-to-back championships. We can actually move on to a little something different now, can't we? I mean, are you ready? I mean, it is. We've been jibber jabbering for about an hour.
We usually do.
So yeah, we usually do. So it's about time for a little Mazz Hysteria. So, you get your own intro and everything. Isn't that awesome?
I like the pictures. Those are awesome. I like those too. Crazy, though. The one with me holding the gun with shirtless. I know I look crazy, but at that point, I wanted to change my name to The Situation. So all I want is just a one-word title for my name. If I win another championship, when I win another championship this year,
Make America Mazz again.
I'm changing my name. And it's going to have some sort of fantasy football designation. One title, not sure yet.
Fantasy football designation.
I'm not sure. But I'm going to register it too. I mean, I'm going birth certificate. I'm just changing it.
All right. Now, these questions, they could relate to sports, could not relate to sports.
Yeah.
In this instance, the first one's very vague, which I didn't ask you for because I like the spontaneity. But seriously, who are you taking?
Who are you taking?
Who are you taking? Who are you taking for what?
Who are you taking in the first round? First pick selection. Let's go ahead and mention now, I am the 11th pick, like I said, because that's where I wanted to be.
And I'm the 9th.
I don't know if I finished that, but I picked the one which gave me the right to pick anywhere in the draft.
Right.
And I chose 11, okay, because I want to pick 11th.
Right.
So,
and I could have taken 12th when I got the phone call. They were like, "All right, well, you got 9, or you can."
yeah,
take,
but you knew
10,
better
11,
not to be
12.
not to be next to me. You needed some space.
I had no idea where you were at the time.
Oh, okay.
I
Oh,
was
you
like,
didn't know.
no,
Okay.
9 is good.
Okay.
I was hoping for 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay, good.
I got 9.
I'm glad you're listening to me
I'm
too.
happy.
I'm at 11 with my first pick overall at 11. I think I am going to take. Man. See, in this mock draft, they already have taken Devontae at the 7.
Right.
But in our draft, I think Devontae is there at 11. So
not if I'm there.
Well, not if you're there at 9. But then if you're taking Devontae, I'll give you
if
Devontae.
the top 8 running backs are gone,
Right.
or in this instance,
Right.
the top 6 running backs and the top 2 quarterbacks,
Right.
Okay, which we're expecting Josh Allen and
Right.
Mahomes to go.
Right. Well, because I know I'm going to get 2 receivers.
So the 7th ranked running back, and then talking about maybe the top ranked receiver being
Right.
Hopkins.
Right.
So I'm probably going to get a choice between Ezekiel Elliott
If you go running back.
if I go running back,
Yeah.
or
Well,
DeAndre Hopkins.
They got Zeke going 4 in this expert draft. 4th overall.
but they don't have the 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah,
We're
I know.
accounting for the 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah. It's going to be tight.
3
at that
if they
slot.
really want to go after Aaron Rodgers.
That's
Oh,
why I don't
would
have to
love you
worry
guys
about
for
this
that.
at 11. Okay, I'm at 11. I know I'm getting 2 receivers, and I'm getting
You're going
either
receiver.
top first 2 picks. Oh,
You
1,000%.
are the bread in a Joe sandwich.
I am going to be getting either 2 of these 3, either A.J. Brown, Calvin Ridley, or maybe Tyreek Hill. I would be fine with the pairing of A.J. Brown and Calvin Ridley as my first two, if Devontae Adams wasn't there.
All right, so.
But if not, I'm going Devontae and Calvin or Devontae and A.J. Brown. That's my two receivers. So if Devontae's there, I'm taking him. He's going to be at 11. Devontae Adams is off the board.
Right, okay, so, well, like I said, you are the bread in the Joe sandwich. Okay, Joe has the turn. He has number 12 and the number 1 in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we may bust balls on Joe about a lot of things. He may be clueless about a lot of other things, but he's a really good fantasy football player. He's had really bad luck because he's gotten like the number 1 pick and boom, out for the year.
Yeah, well, we talked about that.
Yeah, well, but now with 12 and 13, he maybe has a chance to have a little better luck, and he'll have 2 players that will actually play the whole season and perform.
He may be listening as well, which would be a good thing for him to do.
Who cares anymore? The point is,
take a quarterback, Joe.
The point is he does know his stuff, so you have to expect at least an average competency with those 2 picks. So you can't take it for granted that he's going to pick a quarterback and a running back. The 15th ranked running back. Okay, I mean, and I joked before that if Saquon Barkley is there, he's going to grab him. If I were 12 and 13 and Saquon Barkley slid that far, and I had that luxury of going 12, 13, I would draft Saquon easily. If he falls that far, which
maybe
lack of commitment to him starting the season may cause a slide with him. Anyway, my point being is you are the bread in that Joe sandwich, all right? So you're going to have to pick around what he does.
I won last year a large part because of that kid, Jonathan Taylor, who right now sits in the middle of the first round.
Was it third round you got him?
Fourth round.
Fourth round.
And he was my first running back taken.
Huge.
And when I took him, people were like, he's not on my list.
Wisconsin back.
And it's like fourth round, I took my first running back. Because
his first 5 games, it was nothing.
No, because they were integrating him into the system and everything else, which was fine because the
final 5 games.
Because the 3 receivers that I took first dominated the league last year. So that was what carried me until Jonathan Taylor became Jonathan Taylor. So my 4th round reach last year in everybody's eyes is now a first round selection. So I have a good shot of doing that, or anybody else has a good shot of doing that again. Why? Because there's going to be all those running backs that are typically probably 2nd or even worse 3rd round value at best in the 5th and 6th rounds.
Yeah.
Because the other guys were taken to fill out the roster in the early previous rounds. So those guys are there. So
the cumulative slide.
It's a recipe for success, okay? Follow it. Have some of my sauce, please. I'm giving it to you.
No, do not sell your. Do not bottle it.
Next question.
Do not bottle it. Do not distribute it. Do not sell it out of the trunk of your car. Cut that out.
Adams for me, first selection if he's there. A.J. Brown if Adams is taken. Those are my first 2 receivers off the board.
The only way Adams is available to you at that juncture, the only way he gets by me at 9 is if there is a precipitous slide of some sort of top 5 talent, especially at running back.
Yeah, there has to be.
I mean,
maybe a 3rd quarterback gets
if
taken.
Dalvin Cook is there at 9, I'd be an idiot to pass on him.
He won't be, though.
If Derrick Henry is there at 9, I'd be an idiot to pass on him.
That won't happen. Those guys are going to be in the first 5 picks.
What happened? All right. What happens if, like you said, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes go in the top 8?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Now, DeAndre Hopkins goes in the top 8. Now you have 5 running backs. Who are the top 5 running backs on your little
McCaffrey, Cook, Kamara, Elliott, Henry. Taylor's at 6.
Taylor is 6. And who is 7?
Well, that's the first receiver taken, Devontae Adams.
Well, who's the next
And then
back?
Barkley, and then Aaron Jones, and then Nick Chubb. And then Austin Eckler finishes out the round. So you got 9, and again, these are the experts. You have 10 running backs in the first 12 selections.
Right.
Now, in our league, again, it's going to be different. There'll be probably 8 or 9 because 2 of us are going to take receivers and the other 2 are going to take quarterbacks.
Now, if with the absence of, Hopkins, it would behoove me to take a running back.
What if Hopkins doesn't get his vaccine?
Oh, I'm monitoring that. I'm monitoring all these guys that are having their little crybaby hissy fits about it. I'm not getting anybody to talk me into getting a vaccine because it's me. Go ahead. It's you. Go ahead.
It's still me.
Whatever.
Yeah. I'm not even playing football.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, next.
I make fun of you, too. But that's
next. Number 2.
Next. Do the Yankees make the playoffs?
Whew, man, we talked about it. They got some guinea lefties, and their percentages.
But do they make the playoffs?
I'm saying no still. Only because, again, we're inside of about 50 games. They've got a bunch of teams they've got to get ahead of.
And those top 6 teams are just killing it right now.
Well, the teams that are ahead of them all moved at the trade deadline. Toronto got better. George Springer's been a beast. So it's going to be really hard for the Yankees. They're going to have to play probably 750 down the stretch.
Almost perfect baseball.
They're going to have to play. They're going to have to win 70% of their games, let's say, down the stretch.
And they don't have the pitching for that. I'm sorry.
It's going to be hard.
They have decent pitching, but they don't have the pitching.
Their
for that.
bullpen's really good, but they are. Yeah.
There's just so much Garrett Cole can do.
And Domingo Germain just got hurt again. He's on the IL for 10 days.
This kid.
Guy's got so much talent, but, man, he's just can't stay on the field. So I'm saying no. Yankees do not make the playoffs this year.
Oh, not to mention the Aroldis Chapman just got put on the IL too.
Yeah.
So and they had a little COVID outbreak, and just listen.
They went out and got bats because they know they're going to have to score runs, and they can. They've been scoring runs.
And listen, it's not a matter of excellence. The Yankees they have worked themselves into a very entertaining offensive machine. Hey, anytime you add a couple of Italians with power to anything.
Yeah, I think they're officially a game and a half behind the A's for the second wild card spot.
And the A's are just killing it.
Well, they got Marte now, and it's helping them quite a bit.
Right. He has really helped balance in their offense. Yeah. He has really helped with run production in their offense.
But I will say this. They lost Ramon Laureano. 80-game suspension. That's a big loss for them. That's a big hit.
That's big.
So,
but you still need so much more to happen.
Yeah.
You need so much more. You need the Red Sox to fall off.
Well, the A's are probably who they're looking on in terms of the standings. Because, again, they're only a game and a half behind the A's. So they just have to keep – now, they're a game and a half, and they've been playing great baseball. If they go back to, winning 55% of their games down the stretch, they're not going to get there. So they have to stay hot. They have to keep winning. They can't slip. Yeah, they have to keep winning.
They're going to have to.
Every series win from now on is important.
They're going to have to reach down to the minors and find that one kid that can pitch, that can get you 6-7 innings and shut teams down.
Well, they'll need the
nobody's
occasional
seen,
start.
The September call-ups or something.
I don't know.
They got to have something.
I'm still saying no.
It's okay. Well, it's an unfortunate no. It's always fun to have the Yankees in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not the World Series, but playoffs is always fun. It is. It's always fun around the clubs because it's good to see Jake and Joe run around like a nut.
Yeah.
Hey. Good for them. All right. I knew it. I didn't even read these ahead of times. Favorite 80s comedy movies.
Don't call me Francis. We just got there. We just talked about it.
Went there.
And it was going to be a segue. Although I have another one. Obviously.
Oh, you had one in mind.
Well, Stripes obviously is just fantastic. But I think Arthur, for me, is one of the funniest movies of all time.
You're a hooker.
You're a hooker? I was doing so well. Yeah, that movie is just
that is a movie. Okay,
so good.
We can go through Caddyshack.
Oh, so good.
I use lines from that movie every day in my life.
Oh yeah.
With Arthur, I use I shall alert the media.
Yes. Perhaps you'd like me to take your hat off and wash your dick, you little shit.
Suppose you want me to wash your dick for you, you little shit.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, John Gielgud stole that movie. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
But yeah, in Caddyshack, I use lines from that movie every day.
Yeah.
Every day. I even use lines from Bull Durham every day. But as far as 80s comedies are concerned,
so many though. Meatballs.
Meatballs is all right.
Porky's
is all right.
A lot of good ones. Arthur though, for me, is definitely.
Arthur was more cerebral. First of all, I mean, Dudley Moore. Have you ever really watched 10?
Oh yeah, with
10,
Bo Derek.
yeah.
That was the first naked girl I ever saw.
That was a brilliant comedy.
Yeah, first naked girl that I ever saw. It came out in like 1980.
Right.
Yeah, I was 10.
Brilliant comedy. Yeah. Forget the fact that
Thanks, Bo.
Bo Derek was the hottest woman in the world, and she just could not stop getting naked in magazines and on TV. And
there was a lot.
The 10 was just a brilliant comedy. Man, I have to defer to the Mel Brooks movies.
History of the World was really good too.
History of the World, Young Frankenstein.
Oh yeah.
I can't say Blazing Saddles because Blazing Saddles was in the 70s.
Right.
78,
Plus,
79.
You'd be a racist if you did. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But
that's okay, right?
I love that movie.
That movie held a lot of people back.
Yeah. We all think that everybody's a little too oversensitive, but we're 100.
Hey,
get
off my yard.
Get out of my yard. But yeah, I have to defer to the Mel Brooks movies.
Good.
I really do.
So good.
History of the World.
Yeah.
Young Frankenstein. Igor, grab the bags. Okay, you take the blonde, I'll take the one with the target.
Hey.
It's alive.
And one more, Airplane. Tell me you didn't use lines from that movie.
Don't call me Shirley. Yeah.
We got to get these people to a hospital. Why? What is it? Well, it's a building. It's a doctors and nurses, but that's not important right now.
That's not important.
That's not important right now. Yeah.
Do you like gladiator movies?
So good.
I use one line from there, and that is every time I spill something on myself when I'm drinking something, I go, because I have a drinking problem.
Yes.
I have a drinking problem.
So good.
So okay. So 80s movies. There's there's too many to name.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
But I gave you that one. One of my favorites, though, not so much comedy, but it had some good, was Say Anything. Even though John Cusack went off the deep edge.
Yeah.
But Say Anything was one of my favorite movies. I gave her my heart, and she gave me a pen. That's just
a pen.
A pen. That's just one of the greatest lines. Okay.
Next. And John Cusack,
gosh. That sucks because I liked his movies too. So Con Air, man, one of my favorites. One of my favorites.
Oh, it's not that he's not a great actor. It's just like easy on the social commentary, Johnny boy.
Yeah, he's a little out there.
Yeah, he's a little even for me. I'm a down the middle of the road. Everybody go, whoa. Of course, the extreme righties think I'm a lefty, and the extreme lefties think I'm a righty. It's like, I'm not on anybody's team.
Who are you?
I'm not on anybody's team, and I think it pisses everybody off.
They get confused.
Yeah, well, screw your team. Anyway, okay. Next.
I'm on the same team you are. I'm an independent.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I am registered.
And before this show goes on the air, we spend a lot of time laughing at people in both different parties, both extremes. We laugh at you a lot. Yeah. But next question.
Yeah, retard does not know political affiliation.
Exactly.
Here we go.
Shut up. Yeah. How many wins for the Packers this year? Oh, we're back to sports now.
Yeah, so some sports out there. Their division sucks. All the teams
are pretty much. Everybody sucks.
Well, they do. The Bears. I mean, granted. Oh, now in coach speak. Well, their new quarterback's going to lead them to the promised land. Sure. Their division's terrible. It's still the Packers. They're still really good. Aaron Rodgers is still really good. Everybody we talked about. Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, but. There's a lot of adversity that's going to be coming their way if not already there. I just think it's going to be too difficult for him to not have not only literally one foot out the door, but your mindset. You can't be totally comfortable in the place where you're at if you're not staying there.
I could just see Aaron Rodgers playing an acoustic guitar going, I've got Denver on my mind.
He could be around the campfire.
Rocking down high.
Yeah. But it's human nature to be looking ahead to your new destination. There's so many things that go into that new destination. So much preparation, where you're living, all kinds of stuff. I'm just saying, to be a quarterback in the NFL, you got to be focused, I think, a little bit more than worrying about where your next stop is. And clearly his next stop, the writing is on the wall. This is like the last kind of, let's just hang out for the kids type of relationship until they get out of the house, and then we're gone. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
39 million reasons.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So anyway, yes. Okay, Packers win 11 games this year, but so what? It doesn't make a difference.
But so what?
It doesn't matter. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me throw an addendum on there. Do the Bucks repeat?
No.
No.
Too difficult. Too difficult.
Too difficult?
To repeat. Yeah, too difficult to repeat.
Who's going to rep the NFC?
God, man, it's too early to really pick. I just
Pick.
I'm going to take the field for now, just because
Take the
it's
field?
not going to be Tampa.
You are such a gambler.
Yeah, it's not going to be Tampa, and it's also not going to be Kansas City, honestly, and it's not going to be Buffalo either. I really don't think so. All right, how about this? How about the Chargers versus the Colts? No, they can't. They're in the same conference. Yeah, after Colts. Obviously, this is off the cuff, but I like the Chargers.
Phillip Rivers is getting ready to come back to the Colts.
Then the Colts aren't getting there. I really like the Chargers in the AFC. In the NFC,
oh my goodness.
In the NFC, God, give me a dark horse in the NFC.
San Francisco.
Okay, done.
They're getting like 5 defensive starters back.
And not only that, everybody's writing Jimmy off as being this average quarterback. Well, that average quarterback got them to a Super Bowl and was about a completion away from winning the freaking thing.
Yep.
He's 26-7 as a starter.
Yep.
You don't think they'll get there again or be in the discussion? So yes, San Francisco, and keep it out in California.
Keep it on the West Coast.
Yeah, maybe we'll get an earthquake too. Might as well just put it all in there. So, all right, next.
Great. LA and San Francisco.
Next.
Great.
There we go.
All right. Back to fantasy football.
Yes.
And we're going to close with 2 fantasy football questions.
Roll them.
First one being points per catch, PPR,
Yes,
or not to PPR. That is the question.
Okay. I am a PPR guy. And the reason why I am is because it's just more stats. It's just it gives your players on your team more options to score points. You're trying to score points in fantasy football.
Yeah.
You want to know that if you're down 30 going into Monday night, that your receiver that you got a shot. Yes. Okay, exactly. So, and again, it's just the accumulation of points, it's more strategy. Standard leagues, as they're called, are just primarily touchdown based, and it limits your scoring because you don't get a ton of touchdowns for everybody in football.
Well, listen.
Julio Jones, perfect example. Led the league in yards year after year, but was always in the middle of packing touchdowns.
Right.
But because of who he was, it doesn't diminish his fantasy value.
Right.
And that's just another example of why I think PPR, when whatever other categories you can create to generate scoring, is going to be positive for fantasy football.
Yeah, and none of this limiting things like a half a point per catch and quarterback touchdown passes are 4 points. Stop. Just stop it. Okay, I've taken a look back through old paperwork, old leagues from 1995, 1996. And the scores are 41 to 36.
Yeah, they were pretty low.
And it's like
Yeah.
Now we have fantasy football games that are like 205 to 191.
Depending on your site, there could be some wicked scoring bonuses.
And you are watching the last 2 minutes of the Monday Night Football game, and then you are online the next day, and instead of checking out USA Today or the local paper or the Wall Street News or whatever to get your stats, you're on your fantasy football site checking to see if there were any adjustments made from the scoring over the weekend.
Sometimes there are.
Especially if you're like,
0.6.
A half down or a half a point
We've
down.
all been there. We've all been there.
You're creating excitement,
Yes.
okay?
Which is why we do this.
Right.
Which is why we do this.
You have a good time.
Yeah, more points is more scoring is more fun.
Dopamine. Everybody gets some dopamine. Too much caffeine. Okay, finally, as we wrap this thing up, as we've gone over again. You know what? We're no longer just an hour show.
No, we're not.
We're just out of control.
Yeah.
Kickers. Fantasy kickers.
All right, I'm going to end it with a quick story.
As the now Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning used to say, our stupid kicker, kickers.
Until you have Vinatieri.
In fantasy football.
No. I'm a no on kickers.
No.
Okay, I'm a no.
No.
They're kickers, okay?
Kickers.
The game has changed in a way where they're actually kind of lessening the importance of the kicker. They made the extra points harder, so now what are teams doing? They're going for 2. Why? Because it's mathematically right to go for 2. Just like the 3-point line in basketball. You miss half of them, you still win the game because you made the other half.
And they're no longer these funky little dudes from Croatia or Greece or Cyprus or from Venezuela.
They're ex-rugby players. Yeah. They're tackling dummies. They're just. Here's my main reason for not having kickers.
They're corn-fed kids from the Midwest.
I'm going to go back.
Big ones.
I'm going to go back about 7 years, let's say, because I remember it, of course. And why kickers should not be on your fantasy football team. I was in the play-in game for the championship game against.
Here we go.
Against, of all people, Of all people.
Easy. You know, salt is bad for my blood pressure.
Of all people, Joe, I was
Salty.
playing him to get in. And I was winning the entire day.
He's not watching. He doesn't pay any attention
He's
to
tuned
this.
out by now.
Yeah, I
So
know.
winning the entire day.
hope so.
Our
He's
teams were
working.
battling. My kicker, Garrett Hartley of the New Orleans Saints that day.
I remember this vividly. Go ahead.
In that particular league, in our league, we had scoring for kickers. You also had minuses for kickers' misses.
Yes.
Okay. Minuses for the misses. Remember the M's, okay?
I
The Saints, and this may be a slight exaggeration, but not much of one,
not by much.
were down. I don't think they got within 30 at any point in that game,
Right.
and they were kicking field goals.
Right.
Okay, 50-yarders, missing it. Garrett Hartley missed, I think, 2 field goals and 2 extra points. He had an extra point blocked, and he shanked an extra point. Okay. I lost by, I think, negative ½ a point or something like that. So because my kicker missed, the only thing that he's supposed to freaking do is kick the ball, missed 4 of them,
Kick.
I lost. Now, that kicker got fired the next day. The Saints cut him. The Saints cut Garrett Hartley, and he never played again in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
So my kicker, Garrett Hartley, got cut, was released, and never kicked again. But fortunately for Garrett, if he's got anything to put on his effing wall, it was the fact that he cost me a shot to the championship because he missed 4 kicks. I think most of them were inside with the 2 extra points at that point, were not moved yet to the 30 or 25-yard line. They were 20-yard kicks. That's where they was at that point.
Yeah.
Line up at the hash, kick the ball to 20-yard field goal or an extra point. He missed them both. Missed 2 field goals. I lost. F. Garrett Hartley. We do not need kickers on our fantasy football team.
Mine is Cody Parkey.
They're always the last players selected, or at least most teams will take the kickers just to fill their rosters. There's no
Pretty
logic.
much.
There's no thinking involved. You're not going, oh, my kicker's on a bye on week 11. I better get a backup.
I picked a kicker, with my 2 mocks yesterday. I accidentally picked a kicker in the 12th round because I thought the draft was over. I didn't scroll down and see that there were 2 spots left, and I accidentally picked a kicker in the 12th round. I was like, "Oh no! I picked a kicker."
If you take a kicker,
Take a ticker.
if that too, it is not your last pick, you should be put in fantasy football jail.
Yeah.
You should be fined. You should be fined.
Got to wear a special hat.
You should be fined. You should be flogged. Maybe I don't even know. Maybe shot.
Well, no violence.
Paintball. Only.
Throw things at you.
It's like, are you kidding me? And it's like, are you kidding me?
Cody Parkey. 3 years ago, I am in the hunt to make the playoffs. Particularly competitive year for the Diamond Dolls League. And I was in the hunt for the playoffs. And I was leading by 4-point-something points. And Cody Parkey proceeded to, and neither of us had anybody playing Monday night. It was a Sunday night game, playing for the Bears. And he proceeded to miss 3 field goals
Oh, nice.
and an extra point.
Attaboy.
And I lost. And thusly, I lost my tiebreaker advantage because both me and the other guy that were trying to get into the playoffs the next week both won.
Of course.
And so right then and there, every time I say his name, Cody Parkey,
Yeah, Garrett Hartley.
exactly.
Me too. And that year, of course, you keep track of the following week what your team would have done.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
in the championship. I would have smoked them. I would have won the championship then too. So
I did that last year.
Garrett Hartley.
I did that last year because I just barely missed the playoffs.
I hope
last
he's a
year.
Lyft driver right now.
I
Not to
would've
pick on
won 2
Lyft
playoff
drivers.
games.
Yeah. So
You know,
I hope he's
a
working.
Lyft driver.
I really do. Like one day I'm coming home drunk from like the Blarney Stone, and I want to get in his like
Aren't you Garrett Hartley?
2008 Hyundai Elantra and go
Smack him in the back of the head.
and go. Do you look like you Garrett Hartley? And like you son of a
You owe me $1,500.
bastard. So anyway, no kickers, please.
All right, no kicker. So we have come to the end of the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Good one, very nice.
Garrett Hartley,
Garrett,
spit on you, you bastard.
so any parting shots? Any you want to say goodbye to the nice people?
Yeah. See you later.
We haven't talked about aliens for like 3 weeks, but
They're coming.
they're coming.
Yeah, they're here.
Yeah.
And they're coming.
It's still not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's still not going to go well for
I
us.
watched Independence Day yesterday. I don't know why.
Why?
The original.
You're making yourself scared.
What? No. What bothers me? Of course, my wife Diana sitting next to me. She goes, "Is that what you want? Is that what you want? Those people to come and kill us all?" I said, "No, just some of us.
Oh my God.
Not all of us. Just kill some of us.
Just some of us.
Yeah. Just can I make a list?
Hey, why don't you watch Outbreak while you're at it?
No, we're watching Manifest right now. Actually.
No. Watch Outbreak while you're
Oh,
at
I've seen the original.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's really
the
good.
Dustin Hoffman movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
1996 or 7 or
it.
something like that.
Yeah,
It's
that'll
good.
scare the crap out of you.
I've seen
That'll
it.
make you wear a mask.
I've seen it.
That'll make you mask up real good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Contagion. There's so many movies.
Oh yeah, it was
Wow.
like
Great.
You know, that would have made you wear a mask even in 1997.
All those movies should have just had one title called Foreshadowing. That's what it should.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, that's what it should have been called.
We're
People would have been
filthy
like,
monkeys.
What's that
and we
mean?
can't- Yeah, 12 monkeys. There you go.
Yeah, well.
All right. Well, on behalf of myself, the Mazz, say goodbye to the nice people.
Bye again. See ya.
Okay.
Have fun.
And we will see you guys next week at 11 a.m. Make sure you check us out you can catch him on the Instagram at MLBJoyUs. And of course, you can search Gonzo Radio on any social media platform, and there we will be.
Next week is big fantasy football show.
Big
Draft
huge.
players. We'll be ready to go. I'm ready to go. Mocks.
We're not sending the group text. No, I don't want them to watch.
Yeah,
Nope.
if you're not here, that's your problem.
Well, if they're not here, that's their problem.
Agree.
Exactly. Nope. So there. So yeah, we'll check you guys later. Or next week, 11 a.m. sharp here on the Gonzo Radio Network on the YouTubes. Until I can get the website back up and running, I got to pay for my web domain. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm trying to very deftly put in the outro. Bye.